All right, so it's totally the same day. We're totally in the same location. But regardless, we are going to finally finish this up, Ellie. Let's talk about episode 9 of
Woo!
Survivor 41 here. So we start
Oh,
off
yeah.
this episode. What?
Technically, we couldn't finish last time because we were so tired, and I was like dozing off, and we were just like so like dead tired.
Yeah, we were.
That's why we're finishing now.
Yeah, let's get into episode 9. This was a very interesting episode, to say the least, but we'll just get right into it. So we see Deshawn. He's really annoyed with how messy the tribal became, and he's unsure why they won't just say what they were going to do. Heather tries to explain it, but he tells her he just needs a minute to process everything. Heather gets a lot of screen time in this episode.
She does.
Probably her most eventful episode yet in terms of what we've gone for Heather. He talks about how much of a mess the tribal council was and that it was a perfect plan until Heather started whispering, which caused Shan to try to get them to vote for Heather at the last minute, which he was kind of against. And Shan's also very annoyed with how disloyal he's been and how it seems like they are really just doing what he wants, and she finds it to be extremely immature behavior. How do you feel about this whole conflict when it comes to Shan and Deshawn? It's been a pretty big, I think, storyline in like the last couple episodes. Where do you ultimately think it's going?
Their relationship is it's like so dysfunctional in like their game relationship. Like their game relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very entertaining to watch, but I mean, it'd be nice if they actually were on the same side or same page because they're supposed to be aligned.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it comes to Shan, she's the kind of player that like you want to watch. Like she has a lot of agency. She has a really good mind for the game. She has a lot of allies, but I will be honest, I do think at this point she is trying to do a little too much. I don't think you need to dictate every single round what needs to happen, but I also don't really like the way Deshawn is viewing it either, where it's like, oh, you're telling me what to do and you're dictating all this stuff. Like, I think they need to have some sort of compromise, because I do think ultimately one of them is going to go soon, because this is only going to get worse. And I don't see them. This is how I see it right now. I think one of them is going to go very soon, and one of them's making it all the way to the end. I don't know which it is, but
I
we'll
can see that too, but I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but Evvie is very happy with how many fireworks have erupted, because chaos doesn't help people in power. It helps those at the bottom, which is very much true. If you're at the bottom and there's like a lot of chaos going on, you can kind of just like blend in and just kind of like watch it all play out. So she's not wrong about that. So they all watch the sunset together, and Deshawn takes this opportunity to apologize to Shan. And he says that he just needs her to realize that he needs to push through. And when people don't communicate with him the way they need him to, she apologizes and says that she needs to make sure that his voice is heard. And while Shan seems like they've completely smoothed things over, Deshawn still feels like she's dictating to him what to do. And he feels like this alliance is kind of falling apart, and he needs to start to play the middle and work on his relationship with Evvie. And to his credit, I mean, that's definitely, I think, the right thing to do in this situation. Like, if your alliance is not working out, try to flip over to the other side and work something out with them. The problem is, we talked about this before, that's just not a very strong relationship, his relationship with Evvie. They have not had, I think, the solid one-on-ones that we really wanted them to. Like, yeah, obviously they talked in the beginning of the game, but they just haven't been able to really like lock something down. And I think that that relationship, it just isn't quite as strong as it needs to be. So we then see Naseer. He calls out Heather for targeting him, and she claims that she didn't. And in reality, Xander's the one who voted for him and wants to stir up chaos and put the two of them against each other. This was a terrible move, straight up. This was a horrible move from Xander. And look, you think, okay, maybe this is a really good move because Xander's doing this, secretly. Nobody's accusing him of doing it. That's not the problem. The problem is who he did it with. Because if you recall, tell me if I'm wrong here, Allie, didn't Xander and Naseer try to make like some kind of deal to where they both had idols and they were going to work together? So like, why the fuck would you try to throw a vote on him here? I just didn't really understand that.
Xander's definitely grew on me, but
Yeah.
sometimes his game is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I do think he's made some really fucking like boneheaded moves, and I think this was one of them. And I don't really understand what he wants to do other than to cause chaos. Like, yeah, it's fun to cause chaos, but if it's at the detriment of a possible ally, like, what's the point of doing that? You know, like you should cause chaos on someone that is not going to affect you in the long run. This is going to affect him because Naseer said that like he wanted to work with Xander, and it seems like Xander's just like completely forgotten about that, but whatever. Heather then asks Evvie who she voted for. She says that she told her to vote for Naseer, and she admits that it did in fact backfire. So Heather really is getting called out here. This really good moment with Ricard where he talks to everyone about his hearing aids and that he's fully deaf in his right ear, which at times can be very frustrating and scared him coming into the game, but thinks that he's thriving. He talks about reading body language and lips, and it kind of tunes out everything else. While the game has been testing him, he feels like he's been slowly blossoming, and he's in this really great spot for day 17. So I've seen a lot of talk about how Ricard could very well make it to the end and could potentially win the game. How do you feel about that theory?
I mean, I don't really know who's going to win because it could be any of them, but he definitely has a really good shot. And this was just a really like wholesome moment, which just like a very emotional and heart-wrenching moment for him, which was just like a very sweet moment and very inspiring.
Yeah, it was a good moment for him. My issue with Ricard is that I don't think he's making it to the end because a lot of people want Shan out, and they know that Ricard is Shan's number one, and you got to get rid of Ricard if you want to take out Shan, because that's just like there's like an undying sort of like loyalty there. And so I think he's probably going to get out just as like a victim of Shan. So yeah, I don't think Ricard's winning the game. I'd love for him to, but I don't see it happening just based on the way things are playing out, especially based on the preview for tomorrow night's episode. I just don't see that happening, but we'll have to see how that really does play out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, it's you.
Oh, sorry. I was replying. I was replying to Grace really quick in the chat.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Shan wants her, Liana, Danny, and Deshawn to talk as a 4.
Which, can we just say, this was in front of fucking everyone. Like, literally, when she's saying this, Erika and Xander and, like, Evvie, they're, like, all right there. It's like, why are you doing this publicly? Like, I didn't understand this at all.
Love her, but like she does too much sometimes.
Yeah, no, like this was such an obvious, like, don't do this. Like, if you're gonna talk to your alliance, you do it in private. At this point of the game, it's like, why are you doing this other than to like put a target on your back? Like, I didn't understand her mindset at all here.
Literally. Erika talks to Xander and says that they're stupid to not think they won't hear him, and Xander says he's tired of people in the power sphere and that maybe they should start talks with the other 5. Erika feels they need to be low-key, but could maybe get a group together to vote out Shan or Ricard.
And I gotta say, Erika's really been impressing me in these past few episodes. I think that they've been giving her a lot more screen time, and I think I'm starting to believe Erika is making it to the end of this game. I don't know if she's winning, but I think she is making it to the end.
I can definitely see her possibly winning, but it'll be tough. She's definitely got like an underdog at it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think the thing with Erika is that yes, she's an underdog, but she's doing what she can to get herself out of that position and slowly starting to, I think, gain some allies. Like she has Xander here. It seems like she's getting in pretty well with Evvie, but with the way things play out, also Heather and her are pretty tight. So yeah, I do see Erika kind of moving up in terms of like power rankings for this season. I think she has a stronger chance of winning than we initially thought. So yeah, I feel really good when it comes to Erika's journey moving forward.
Yes. Shan tells Deshawn she doesn't trust Erika and that they need to pull in Naseer and vote out Xander, but Shan feels Erika is the bigger threat.
Which again, I mean, just the way that this is going, I think that Shan just needed to. There's one thing that Shan needed to do here: just settle for Xander to go. Like that's what needed to happen. Settle for him to go. Everyone wants him out at this point. They wanted to target him. There's no reason to be messy with this vote. It doesn't really affect her at the end of the day. She's not working with Erika. She's not working with Xander. So at this point, it doesn't really matter who goes. It matters like who is best for your game. And I think that while, yes, Erika is a bigger threat, I think that when your alliance is like pushing so hard for someone, you just kind of have to go with it. It's still pretty early in the merge. Like, yeah, we're in the merge now, but it's still pretty early. It's not really the time to like be messy.
Yeah, exactly. The next immunity challenge is underway. However, Jeff announces that for this challenge, they will be divided into 2 groups and 2 people will win immunity and be safe. Both groups will then head to tribal council and separately vote someone out. They will also be playing for chicken and beef stew for their group to be enjoyed at camp.
That sounds so good. I could go for some stew right now.
That sounds so good. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I love chicken and I love stew.
Oh, yeah.
But the challenge basically involved all of them holding onto a pole. For the yellow group, Erika wins but drops before the chicken and beef stew.
Which was such a great win for her. I was so happy Erika won that.
I'm excited for her. And for the blue group, Xander wins immunity as well as chicken and beef stew for his group.
At this point, I can see Xander winning out. I can. I do think there is a path in this game where Xander just keeps winning comps because he knows he needs to. And he's shown before that, like, he has that physical capability. And I do think Xander's going to make it pretty far in this game as a result. So, yeah, I think that, you know, he's winning the comps that he needs to. I think his social game is kind of inconsistent, but I think overall, like, he's not going anywhere for a while because I think he's going to keep winning these comps, but we'll have to see.
I feel like honestly, I feel like mostly any of them can win comps, though.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the blue group here. Everyone enjoys eating stew. Xander feels like this is the opportunity to take out one of the big dogs on top. Evvie feels like she'd be in trouble, but she feels like Deshawn is very much on the right side of the power structure in the group, so she feels good with him. But she knows that she and Xander have had a bumpy road in the past couple of days, and she talks to him about maybe taking out Liana, and he says that he'd be down since she's basically Shan's minion, but also wants him gone as soon as possible. This wasn't a bad call, in my opinion. Like, Liana's definitely in a position where I think out of that group, she's probably in the least amount of danger because of the fact that, you know, Shan is the one that's so vocal about everything. Everyone wants Shan out. And I could see, similar to Ricard, Liana going, but I also feel like Liana is just kind of like slipping through the cracks, and there's things that she's not taking the heat for.
Game-wise, I think Shan's more strategic and Liana's more social.
I think so too. I think the issue with Liana is that when she tries to play that strategic game, it doesn't really work. I think this is where Liana needs to be at the moment.
No. I mean, she is strategic. She just, some of the moves she can be a little bit iffy with.
I don't think she's particularly great at the strategic aspect. I think she's better at the social aspect, and I think we're kind of seeing that here. But Danny then talks with Deshawn, who, I'll be frank, I keep forgetting Danny's here. I do. I keep forgetting Danny is here. He is not doing anything for me right now. I've enjoyed him a lot in like the beginning, but he just hasn't been doing a ton. But it seems like he wants Evvie gone, and he thinks it'll happen as long as him, Deshawn, and Liana all are going to vote the same way. So he's very adamant about just getting Evvie out of here. And Liana also wants Evvie gone, but she's worried that Xander may play the idol on her, which I didn't understand. They're like not aligned at this point, but obviously they don't know that. So Liana tells Xander that the most threatening is Evvie or Deshawn. He deflects Evvie and brings up Deshawn. He doesn't understand why Liana feels that she can demand to him what to do when she's got a big target on her back and has shown her cards and he's ready to fully expose them. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at this point. Like, I think, you know, I've talked about this before. Liana just has this tunnel vision, and it's really starting to catch up to her. Xander knows how much she's been gunning for him. Xander knows, like, how much she wants him out of this game. obviously he's not going to do her dirty work. Obviously he doesn't trust her. Like, it's understandable.
It would be cool. It would be like an interesting turn of events if they actually work together.
Oh, I wanted them to. I did. Like, I wanted to see these two team up and like vote someone out. I just don't see it in the cards at this point. They've tried it so many times and it doesn't seem like either of them really want to like go through with it. So I just don't think it's going to end up happening at this point. It'd be fun to watch, but I just didn't see it happening. So Xander goes to Danny and Deshawn, and I thought this was a really good move for him. He says he wanted to work with both of them and that they've been in a very comfortable position with Shan, Liana, and Ricard. Deshawn lets Xander know that he doesn't want to be in that core because he wants to play his own endgame, which, again, we get to the wishy-washiness here. Deshawn says that he wants to play his own endgame. Keep that in mind. So Xander says that Liana is very much someone that could go tonight and let him know that Liana said his name. And Deshawn does tell him that he's down to vote for her. And he knows if he takes Liana out, there will be repercussions for the power alliance. But at the same time, he wants to honor his deal with Evvie and potentially take her out. So he says as long as Xander doesn't play his idol, he's the one deciding who does, in fact, go home tonight. So at this point, I'm like, maybe he's going to do it. I did think there was a possibility that maybe he turns on his alliance. Like, Deshawn has talked a lot about how I don't like the way these people are playing. I don't like being dictated what to do. I thought, okay, maybe Deshawn's going to make a power move here and I can stop calling him wishy-washy. But we'll talk about what happens. Danny talks to Xander, brings up how big of a threat Evvie is, which makes Xander hesitant to work with both him and Deshawn moving forward. But again, I was hoping that Deshawn wasn't going to vote with Danny. I think Danny is skating by because he has this undying loyalty to this group. And I think that is ultimately going to help Danny in the end. What's unfortunate is I think that Danny is going to be a very underedited winner if he does win this game, just because we haven't really seen a ton from him.
Danny and Heather are kind of very like
Heather's getting more screen time than Danny at this point. Danny had a lot in like the first few episodes, but I feel like since then he's been kind of invisible. And that's good because it shows that he's not really a threat. Like, nobody really wants Danny out at this point. But it's bad because we're just not really seeing like where he's at strategic wise. It seems like to me, Danny's game is that he's trying to be as loyal as he possibly can. He's basically putting himself, like, he's been put in this position. It's kind of similar to like Xavier's game in Big Brother 23, where it's just kind of working out for him that he's in this position and he's skating, like he's able to skate by as a result. It's not the most interesting game, but again, that's what we're seeing. I hope that there's more going on than that, because I do like Danny. You know, if he makes it to the end, I like Danny. I like what I think the game that he's playing, but I just want to see a little bit more of like where his head is at in this merge. We just haven't really seen that. You know, we had the whole thing of him saying like, we need the girls out of here. But then once Sydney left, we haven't really seen anything with him since then. So while I think he's probably in the best position with that alliance, I need more screen time of him because we're not getting much. So that's what's going on there. Tribal then goes down, and Jeff asks Evvie just how cagey everyone is, and she says she's pretty sure she knows what's going to happen tonight. Jeff goes around, asks their levels of comfortability within this vote. Deshawn feels that there's a ton of lying going on. The vote's going to determine that, and Evvie says that it excites her that she hasn't died with the way that everyone is playing, which, I mean, I really love that. Like, you can just see that Evvie is just such a fan of this game, and she loves all the chaos that's going on and whatnot. But basically, we do get to, the vote goes down, and by a vote of 3-2, Evvie is the next person eliminated from Survivor 41. So Deshawn did not stick to the plan here. Again, he continues to just be wishy-washy. He tells Shan, I don't want to be dictated to, and then goes along with it anyway. I just don't understand his game at this point. Like, why is he calling out? Why is he saying, like, I don't want to do this, but then does the exact thing that, like, he says he doesn't want to do? I just don't really understand what his game is. And I think because of that, I don't think Deshawn is winning this game. I just don't see it happening. I think that his game is
I can see him getting, like, maybe 4th.
Yeah, a lot of people have said they think he's going to be in the fire making challenge and he's going to lose it. And I could see that happening because they've kind of like set that up pretty well. Where I'm at with Deshawn is that I just don't think he has a narrative of winning this game. I think his game has just been far too inconsistent at this point to really get that win. Maybe he's able to turn around. Maybe he finally recognizes, that he's being he's flip-flopping a lot and that he's not really coming to, that he's not really coming to that decision, sticking to it. Maybe he'll realize it. But right now, I just don't see a scenario in which he can win.
I don't either, sadly.
So Evvie does talk about how she's unsure who flipped, but feels like she was living on borrowed time and she can't complain too much. And we get this good moment where she tells all queer kids to be themselves. Evvie as a character, I really enjoyed her a lot. I think that she was someone that was very good. She always fought hard. She always did what she could to put herself in the best position. I think just unfortunately, she did not have as good of allies as she thought she did. I think she
did really well.
I think she did too. I think she had a really strong pre-merge phase. And I think what ultimately fucked her was the unraveling of the Yasa tribe. I think if they were able to stick together more, let's say Tiffany's still here, I think she does survive. I think there is a path in which she's able to...
Or if her and Liana stayed together.
Yeah, I think if that whole tribe had not just completely just split apart, I think that there was a scenario in which that she does survive. But unfortunately, aside from Xander, I do kind of see this tribe getting pagoned at this point. I'm not saying Liana is going to be the next one to leave, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened just because Yasa's literally going back to back. So we'll have to see what happens there. But very unfortunate for Evvie. I enjoyed her a lot in this game, and it's very sad to see her go here.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you go ahead and talk about the yellow the yellow group. What happened in that group? Which also, we forgot to say, they were back at UA for this vote, which was they were so fucking rotted of Jeff Probst to put them back at UA. But that's what happened.
It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Shan says that Erika winning was bad for her game because she did want her out, but this may be the opportunity to get Heather out since she's an ally for Erika. Naseer seems to be on board with this in an attempt to keep his idol.
Which this is a pretty strong move because that Erika and Heather are very close. That is a very strong duo. And I do think there was potential to where this could have maybe worked.
I think so too. It could have been a good move, honestly.
Yeah.
Naseer goes ahead and tells Heather that she will be going home tonight and that Shan and Ricard are his closest allies, which really stresses out Erika.
And I mean, Naseer, we talked about this before. Naseer is just the nicest guy in this entire season. He is way too nice for this cast. This is a very savage cast that is just constantly targeting each other. And Naseer is just the nice guy that you just want to give him a big old hug. That's
I just
where
want to
Naseer
hug him.
is. Yes, he's a big teddy bear. That's I think the best way to describe Naseer. He's someone that.
I want to hug you.
Me too.
Heather and Erika strategize, and it seems like she wants to vote out Shan, but knows there are many options with both Shan and Naseer having idols.
Right.
I mean, that would be a really strong move, though.
Oh, it is, and I do think
Shan gone, but
I do think it's happening soon. I do think Shan is going very soon, just because of the edit. The edit is very much foreshadowing that she's gonna get blindsided soon. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Ricard doesn't understand why Heather is such a big threat and feels that Naseer is a bigger threat overall, and he needs to make him feel so comfortable that he won't play his idol tonight.
And I didn't think this was that great of a move from Ricard. I think that he kind of needed Naseer in the game because Naseer was undyingly loyal to him and Shan. I didn't really understand his logic here. It's Naseer has an idol, but you can use that idol to your own benefit. You can tell Naseer, hey, let's get this person out. I just didn't really understand why Ricard wanted to target Naseer here. It just wasn't the greatest move, I think.
No, I really Naseer was so loyal to him. So
yeah, I appreciate the fact that Ricard is this really messy player and he's trying to make shit happen, but it's similar to Xander where it's you do it when it benefits you. I don't think this benefited Ricard at all.
Not at all. Because, like, Naseer would be upset.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that he didn't realize how loyal Naseer really was to him, which is
Maybe.
possible. Like, I've definitely been there before where it's like, I don't realize the loyalty that someone had and I vote them out as a result. And then I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. So I could potentially have seen that being a scenario, but just the way it was portrayed, it very much seemed like Ricard wanted to like make a big move here and voted out someone that was not really in his best interest.
Yeah. Erika and Heather plan to make Naseer feel like Heather is going home so he'll feel as safe as possible.
Which, I mean, they really, I think, did all the work here. Like, these two should be commended for the work they pulled off, because it's not easy to convince someone to not play an idol, but they were able to do it.
Yeah. Oh my god. But I feel like he should have played it because that would kind of sketch people out, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he should have played it.
I still would have played it in his position.
Oh, yeah.
But I get why he didn't.
Yeah. Ricard explains to Shan how little it makes sense to go after Heather. And Shan says she will cast the extra vote to go after Naseer, but she still is very wary about Heather and Erika. Ricard feels that Naseer is the biggest threat, but if Shan is not willing to budget, if it could go on Heather.
Which I was kind of hoping that it would, because it would have been a better move, but whatever.
Oh, I wish. Ricard talks about how this vote is going to go, and that Heather will be an easy vote tonight, especially with no advantages to keep her safe.
How about that easy vote?
Erika feels what hurt them are that everyone knows where the advantages are.
Yeah, I mean, that's very much true. I think we're definitely seeing that come into the game. It's definitely shaking things up because it's like everyone knows who has an advantage. There's like nothing to hide. It's interesting to see how that's played out.
Yeah. Naseer talks about how he and Heather had a roller coaster of a relationship and that he respects her as a mother. Heather talks about how proud she is that she's made it this far. The vote goes down, and at first, it is a tie of 3-3 between Naseer and Heather.
Which was fucking insane. I was not expecting for that to happen. Obviously, the tie was caused by Shan's extra votes.
It was
but
insane.
I didn't know how this was going to play out. I was like, either of them could go at this point.
Yeah, literally. After a revote, it is a unanimous vote for Naseer. Sadly, he played so well.
I love Naseer so much this season. I thought that like I said, he was just so rootable to watch because you understood how much he just loved what he was doing. He didn't take things too personally. He enjoyed the game a lot. He wanted to just have fun and play his heart out, and that's exactly what he did. And I think that he should be proud of the game that he played. You know, yeah, it sucked that he got like blindsided, but I think he still played a really strong game. And as I said before, I think out of that original like Luvu tribe, I think he was the one that succeeded the most.
If they had like another heroes versus villain season, I could see him definitely being a hero.
Oh yeah. I definitely see them bringing him back at some point.
I can see Shan being villain. Liana, it's kind of hard to say.
Liana's kind of in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah. Like she can be both.
Yeah, Shan's definitely a villain. I'm just not sure where Liana would fall.
I think Ricard would be a villain too.
Yeah, Ricard's definitely a villain. I would say that. But I think Naseer, I mean, I could definitely see them bring back just for that flashback moment he had alone when like he found the idol. Yeah, it's literally one of the most like wholesome things ever. Like it was so great.
I love that so much. He talks about though he was blindsided. He enjoyed every single moment here and got to live out his dream.
Which again, just props to him. He played such a strong game. And I'll be honest with you at this point, Allie, I don't know who the fuck is winning this game. I really don't.
It's really hard to say, like especially with the smaller cast, obviously because COVID and stuff.
I just feel like it is so open at this point. Like there's so many possibilities. Yeah. I can tell you who I don't think is winning. I don't think Ricard is winning, and I don't think Deshawn is winning. Those are two people I'm going to rule out. Everyone else, I could
know. It's tough to say, really. I don't.
Yeah, everyone else I could potentially see winning.
I think everyone has a story to win.
I think so too. I think so too. I think just some people have played games that are just a little too inconsistent to get them to win. I think those two in particular.
Some games are very flashy. Some are very low key.
Yeah, like I keep talking about how I think Shan's gonna get blindsided, but for all I know, she could be the winner of this game. Like all this shit we're talking about might not matter at the end of the day. So like,
we'll see.
It's really interesting to like watch a season and not know who the winner is. And I think that's really interesting so far, because I feel like most of the time when you're watching reality TV, there's like that one person that sticks out and you're like, this person is probably going to win the game. And I don't feel like we have that right now. And Ali is frozen. Oh no. Now we wait. Good thing this isn't live.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, this isn't live, by the way. I'm going to end up editing this.
I saw. Oh yes. The only reason the Wi-Fi has been going in and out lately, I think it's just because of the weather.
Oh my god. No, so what I was saying is that I feel like most of the time when you watch reality TV, there's like that one person you can pinpoint. You're like, this person's probably going to win the game. I don't see that so far. Like, I don't know who it is. I've heard people say it could be Danny, but I've also heard people say it could be Shan. I've heard people say it could be Ricard. I've heard people say it could be fucking Xander for all we know. It could be, maybe Heather wins this game. You know, I don't know what's going to happen at this point. And I like that. I like that we don't have like a clear winner right now, because I think that's going to make the game that much more interesting overall. But we'll really just have to see the way things play out. Other than that, that's it for our review. Finally caught up, Allie, on Survivor 41.
Yeah, we were still behind for a while.
I know. I'm glad we were able to finally catch up. I'm very excited to see how this game does play out moving forward. I think it's going to be a very interesting season for sure, and we'll really just have to see how it does go. Other than that, that's it for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, we apologize for the delay, but I'm glad we were able to ultimately catch up. That's it for this video. We will see you guys in our next video. Stay tuned for our coverage of Ascendance as well. We are still continuing that. And we will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.
Bye. Have a good night.